Dear viewers, welcome to Noorsat Satellite Station and Telelumiere TV. Let's start with the headlines. The Hungarian Foreign Minister visits the Latin Patriarchal Vicariate in Amman. Caritas launches its annual winter campaign in the governorates of the kingdom. The Church of St. Paul the Apostle in Jubayha celebrates the centenary of the Jordanian state. We also have the Guardian of the Holy Land, Father Francisco Paton, arrives to Bethlehem. Welcome back. Within the framework of his weekly Christian teachings, and as he habitually does every week, His Holiness Pope Francis welcomed the believers coming from all over the world to the Vatican, where His Holiness contemplated and said,
Most Holy Father, the English-speaking visitors and pilgrims present today wish to express to you their sentiments of respect and esteem, and to assure you of their prayers for your ministry as the successor of Peter. At the end of the audience, we will sing together the Our Father in Latin. The Holy Father will then impart his apostolic blessing, which he willingly extends to all children and young people, the elderly and the sick. His Holiness also intends to bless any religious articles you may have brought for this purpose. The following is a summary of the Holy Father's words this morning. Dear brothers and sisters, in our continuing catechesis on St. Joseph, we now reflect on St. Matthew's description of Joseph as both a just man and as the husband of Mary. As a devout son of Israel, Joseph willingly submitted to the requirements of the law and its precepts concerning marriage. Having learned that Mary was already with child, out of love and regard for her, Joseph sought to spare her the humiliation of a public separation. Then, in a dream, Joseph learned from an angel that it was right that he should marry Mary, since she had conceived her son by the power of the Holy Spirit. By God's providence, Joseph came to a deeper understanding of divine justice and its authentic demands. Joseph and Mary's openness to God's saving plan brings their love to a maturity expressed in the virtues of chastity, fidelity, respect, and humility. Far from restricting our freedom, these virtues, in fact, give our love direction and endurance. In this sense, St. Joseph and Mary can serve as an example not only to young people engaged to be married, but to all of us, who also in the midst of life's inevitable challenges are called to discover the true joy and freedom that come from trusting in God's just and providential concern for our lives.
The Royal Institute for Religious Studies in Jordan, in cooperation with the Coptic Evangelical Commission in the Arab Republic of Egypt, launched the Horizon of Peacebuilding Conference in Arab Societies, and the speech was delivered at the conference by His Royal Highness Prince Al-Hassan bin Talal, in which he indicated that today we need a renaissance of affection, paving the way towards strengthening human brotherhood and laying the foundations of justice and peace among people. For her part, the director of the Institute, Dr. Renee Hattar, said, "Dialogue between followers of religions is a basis for peaceful living. Hence, it is necessary to sensitize society, to reject violence, and to promote and spread culture of peace." In turn, the head of the Coptic Commission in Egypt, Reverend Andre Zaki, praised the model that Jordan represents in consolidating the values of coexistence and religious tolerance. During his visit to the kingdom, the Hungarian Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Mr. Peter Sparto, and the accompanying delegation paid a cordial visit to the Latin Patriarchal Vicariate in Amman, where he was received by the Latin Patriarchal Vicar in Jordan, Monsignor Jamal Khadr, and the Greek Orthodox Archbishop of Jordan, Christophoros Atallah, and a number of priests and officials. During the meeting, they discussed ways of cooperation between the Jordanian and Hungarian sides, especially with regard to supporting the Jordanian churches in facing the great burdens placed on them, in addition to researching a number of projects. The Minister of Culture, Haifan Najjar, sponsored a symposium organized by the Church of St. Paul the Apostle in Jubayha, in celebration of the centenary of the Jordanian state. In her opening speech, Minister Al-Najjar said, 100 years of the state's life was a shining light in the night of history, so that Jordan became a Jordan of construction, leadership, and creativity. In his speech, the Latin Patriarchal Vicar in Jordan, Monsignor Jamal Khadir, said, "We have planted human values with justice and dignity in our schools, and the parishioners of the church lived them truly in love of the homeland under the wise Hashemite leadership." Father Samir Mdanat said, "Our celebration today in St. Paul's Church is a proof of our absolute belief that we live in the shadow of a strong and united Jordanian society under the umbrella of the Hashemites." And Senator Jamil al-Nimri said, "We as Christians of Jordan have the right to be proud that we do not have a sub-identity crisis, as is the case for the people of other countries." Then the poet Muhannad Dababne recited verses from patriotic poem, followed by patriotic songs presented by the artist Saad Hattar. On the occasion of the approaching Christmas and under the patronage of Mrs. Taima Khouri Qawar, Archimandrite Christophorus Haddad inaugurated the 32nd annual Charity Bazaar, which was set up by a group of Orthodox Marriott bearers in the church hall of the Lord's entry into the temple in Sofia, in the presence of a group of priests, public figures, and parishioners. In the same context and on the occasion of the approaching Christmas, His Excellency Deputy Omar Al-Nabir inaugurated the charitable bazaar set up by the St. Ephraim Syriac Orthodox Church in Sofia, which was sponsored by the Patriarchal Vicar of the Syriac Orthodox in Jordan and the rest of the Holy Land, in the presence of a number of priests and religious and popular figures. The bazaar included various exhibits, handcrafts, and sweets for Christmas, in addition to the fun Christmas atmosphere and various gifts. Dr. Basim Al-Sam'an, the Regional Director of Noorsat Satellite in the Holy Land, Jordan and Palestine, sponsored the charitable ceremony held by the Greek Orthodox Fraternity of St. Nicholas in Marka on the occasion of St. Barbara's Day. The ceremony, which was attended by the parish priest, Father Sophranius Hanna, included the presentation of prizes, the distribution of gifts, and having dinner. The Jordanian Caritas Association launched its annual winter campaign from the church hall of the Latin monastery in Salt, to include after that all the governorates of the kingdom. Caritas Salt coordinator Michel Fashho indicated at the campaign launch ceremony under the patronage Balqa Governorate Dr. Firas Abul Qawood and attended by Chargé d'Affaires of the Papal Embassy in Amman, Monsignor Mauro Lalli, and a number of priests and a group of attendees, to the humanitarian role of Caritas in standing by every needy in this dear country. And the attendees expressed their pride in the great efforts provided by Caritas of support and humanitarian services that represent the spirit of brotherhood and love among the members of the one Jordanian family. On the occasion of the glorious holidays, Engineer Shahade Abu Hdeib, chairman of the board of directors of the Arab Potash Company, sponsored the Christmas tree lighting ceremony and the opening of the Fuhais Orthodox Club Bazaar. The ceremony was attended by a number of representatives and priests from the Apostolic Fuhais churches and a large gathering of city's residents. At the beginning of the celebration, a group of scouts and guides of the Orthodox Society played music and then priests prayed. The president of the club, Amin Ziadat, welcomed the participants in this celebration, emphasizing the message of Christmas, which is a message of love, peace, and giving. At the end of the ceremony, the audience went to the bazaar, which included a variety of exhibits, especially those related to the glorious Christmas. And in the Orthodox Club in Abdoun, Archimandrite Christophorus Haddad sponsored the annual celebration by lighting the Christmas tree, which was set up by the Orthodox Club in Abdoun on the occasion of the approaching glorious Christmas, in the presence of a group of priests, heads of Orthodox societies, members of the administrative body of the club, a number of public figures, and a group of parishioners. Amidst a festive Christmas atmosphere full of joy, the Christmas tree was lit in a scene that brings joy to everyone's hearts. It was followed by a paragraph of Christmas songs and hymns inspired by the celebration, sung by the choir of the National Orthodox School to the rhythm played by the Amman Orthodox Scouts and Guides group. On the other hand, and in the midst of a large presence of citizens, arrived to the city of Bethlehem from Jerusalem, the guardian of the Holy Land, Father Francisco Paton, on the eve of the start of Advent and the feast of Saint Catherine, patron saint of the Latin parish in the city. The procession received an official and popular reception in Nativity Square in the presence of the heads of churches and senior officials of the governorate. And after shaking hands, Father Francisco went to the Church of St. Catherine amidst a musical performance where he presided over a special prayer. The guardian of the Holy Land expressed his happiness at visiting the city of the cradle of Christ and the reception of its people to him. His Beatitude Patriarch Rafael Sacco presided over the ceremonial Mass for the inauguration of the Church of the Rosary Sultana in Karada, Baghdad, with the assistance of a number of priests, bishops, and a large audience of believers. In his homily, Patriarch Sacco indicated that Jesus did not build the church on stone, but on the faith, commitment, and faithfulness of the apostles, and added that the church is a place of prayer, education, and upbringing, and it is necessary that it be beautiful and elegant, stressing in his sermon on the role of the family and the school in the human, faithful, and moral upbringing of children. Under the patronage of the Minister of Culture, Haifa al-Najjar, a ceremony was held at the Royal Cultural Center to announce the book Christians and Citizens in the Arab Countries Between Rights and Duties, Jordan as a Model, by Archimandrite Dr. Bassam Shahatit. The book talks about the rights of Christians and their civil and ecclesiastical duties in the Arab countries, including Jordan. Its issuance comes in the midst of the kingdom's celebration of the first centenary of the establishment of the Jordanian state, so that this work would be a positive step forward to build a better future for generations. Here, dear viewers, we have come to the end of our news, and those were the headlines. The Hungarian foreign minister visits the Latin Patriarchal Vicariate in Amman. Caritas launches its annual winter campaign in the governorates of the kingdom. The Church of St. Paul the Apostle in Jubayha celebrates the centenary of the Jordanian state. The guardian of the Holy Land, Father Francisco Paton, arrives to Bethlehem. For more information, please visit our website www.noorsatjo.org. Thank you for watching. Until we meet again, have a good day.